So good morning, English 149. This is Grant. And I thought I'd record a video just to introduce you to what we're doing today. I'm going to have you watch a very good video by the BBC. It's just 2 minutes on the medium as a message. And I'm going to have you complete a Google Doc, which is right below these videos. You're just going to email that back to me and just take it like homework. You'll have until 11:59 tomorrow on Wednesday to turn that into me. So let me know if you have any questions about that. But I'm going to switch gears a little because y'all did such a good job with intellectual property. And what I'm going to do is start to switch to talking about multimodal composition. And one thing I want you to think about is a lot of the cases that you're seeing are in the same medium. And so when you're translating something to another medium, if you're doing it right, if you're thinking about the medium as the message instead of the message as the message, and you'll understand that more from the other video, you can kind of skate by a lot of the intellectual property rights and debates. But what I thought I'd show you is, because we've had 2 discussions and maybe only about a third of you have come, I thought it might be helpful to kind of talk about what we've been discussing in our optional Zoom meetings. So a lot of people have had questions on adaptation versus fan fiction. And what we're kind of saying is both of them retell the story in some way, right? Sometimes they add new, sometimes they change a component, right? But the commentary, just as the same as like fair use, allows you to use a copyrighted material as long as you're commenting on it, right? I think an easy way to think about this distinction between adaptation and fan fiction is in this commentary. Okay, so we did a couple examples of this. If you're unfamiliar with Under the Skin, which is a movie with Scarlett Johansson, it has about, 3 sentences of dialogue. The movie is very visual, but it is actually based on a book which has a ton of internal dialogue. And so the movie really goes with the medium, right? The visual medium to show all of these kind of emotions and thoughts of the character. So that's an adaptation, right? Because it's really taking the story and fitting it to something new. Now, that's opposed to Watchmen, the movie, which we are not going to see. We're going to look at the HBO series. Watchmen, in a lot of the scenes, is a shot-by-shot remake of the comic. Okay? So it's not trying to do something new. It's just trying to, what we would call, remediate. It just is moving the same thing into a different medium. And because this movie doesn't really change much about the comics, it does change the ending, but it looks like the only reason they changed the ending is they had trouble rendering a giant squid, right? So that movie goes into this realm of fan fiction. Now, the only reason it's not identified as fan fiction is because it is translating a medium. And that's what I said in the beginning. The easiest way to skate by copyright is just to move something into another medium. But if we look at it on a text base, it's definitely more into the fan fiction because it doesn't comment about the comic. It just tries to basically do the comic in a new medium. So there needs to be some kind of commentary, either on the source text or the society or the author, some kind of commentary, okay? And the other thing we talked about was pounces. So the example I gave of Frankenstein, there was some confusion about what exactly palimpsests are. And so you can think about Frankenstein as published in 1818, really popular at the time, and the creature in the original is supposed to be ugly beautiful. So this creature has all the most beautiful parts, but all the parts together make the creature kind of uncanny and ugly. Where the Frankenstein you think of when you think of Halloween candy and universal creatures and whatnot, it comes from a 1931 movie, right? And so palimpsest is something where you might have probably not even seen this 1931 movie, but you know the iconography from it. You associate the Frankenstein with this movie, not the 1818 book version, okay? So that's a palimpsest because it's rewriting where the narrative starts and what the cultural consciousness around that narrative is, okay? So those were the kind of things that we talked about in our Zoom meetings. Now, looking ahead to this week, at the end of the week, you're going to be doing a book cover. And if you look into the feeders, which is right below the course requirement, you're going to see I've given you an InDesign template. Now, it's like a regular book cover, so you can either use that or you can do something different. It's really up to you. But the videos tomorrow will go over how to use InDesign. So if you haven't downloaded Adobe Creative Cloud and then Adobe InDesign, please do that now, so you're set for our project at the end of the week. And then the other thing I just want to talk about really quick is your video projects. So those can take different forms. You can look at a fan fiction community, you can look at a specific fan fiction, you can create your own fan fiction. So one example that the video provides you is you could do like a movie trailer for a fake fan fiction film, or you can make it real, whatever you want to do. But it's really open. I want the video to have something to do with fan fiction or creating your own fan fiction. And again, remember, this is fair use because you're in a class. So don't worry about using in copyright movies or images or text or whatnot. This is for a class, so you are covered under fair use. So please write me an email, go to the forum posts. Y'all have been very good with communication, and I look forward to talking with you tomorrow. Thanks.